Welcome to the Wealthy Woman's Podcast, a podcast for high-achieving women who are great at making money but struggle to build wealth. You'll learn how to take control of your money, increase your net worth, and make more. Ladies, it's time to create a life with more money and more freedom. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. And today, we are going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid when creating your 2025 money plan. When you're setting your New Year's resolutions, when you're setting your financial goals for 2025, I want to give you the 3 biggest mistakes to avoid so that you can actually make your goals and plans a reality next year. So here's a sobering statistic. Most money plans, most goals, and most New Year's resolutions fail by mid-February. Now, before I go any further, I want you to reflect and ask yourself this question. Has this been true for me? Have you made plans and set goals and made New Year's resolutions in the past, and then by mid-February, they were out the window? I'm going to pause for you to just reflect for a second. So, if you answered yes, then here's what I need you to know. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Nothing at all. But there's likely something wrong with the methods you've been using to set your goals and to create your plans. Also, I want to emphasize that the new year is actually a great time to set new goals because it's a new beginning, right? It's a new year and we feel like, oh, it's a new year and it's a new me. Well, I want you to know that's not necessarily true. The fact that it's a new year doesn't mean that you're going to automatically be a different person that does different things, okay? The new year is simply a new year. It's a new beginning. And it's a great time to reflect and to look ahead. But the fact that it's a new year isn't enough to immediately change who you are and how you act. It's a great time to start to change, but the new year alone won't guarantee change. It's going to take so much more than that. And that is why I created the 2025 Money Planning Workshop. That is absolutely free. I usually charge for this workshop, but this year I'm doing something different. It's absolutely free, and you have 2 dates to choose from. You can join me live on Sunday, December 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or on Monday, December 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can secure your spot by going to the show notes and signing up, or by going to jermainefoley.com/2025. Again, that's Jermaine with a G, Foley.com/2025. So like I said, there will be no charge for this workshop, but here's the catch. There will be no replays. So that means you need to show up live. So give yourself this gift. Put this on your calendar. Pick your date, which day works best for you. Put it on your calendar and carve out about 90 minutes for yourself. There will be no replay. I promise you there will be no replay. I will not be sending out a replay of this. So if you want to plan your year so that your finances can be totally different, the goal is for you all to create your wealthiest year yet in 2025. I want to sit down with you, give you exercises, give you new concepts, new ways of thinking, so that you don't just set a New Year's resolution this year that fizzles out by mid-February. I want your plan to be sustainable all year long, and I want you to look back and just be in awe of all you accomplished. So this time next year, I want you to be looking back like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I went to that workshop because it set me up to have the best year yet. Look how far I've come and look how much further I'm planning to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the 3 mistakes that you want to avoid making when creating your 2025 money plan. Now, all 3 of these mistakes that I'm telling you to avoid, we will work on in the workshop. So I'll teach you in depth how to avoid these mistakes if you join me in the workshop. Okay, so number 1, The first mistake is this: setting vague goals that don't reflect what you really want. So here's the problem. Many people set vague, generic goals like, I want to save money or I want to pay off debt because they think they should. Others set goals that are just way too big and they feel impossible. Like, oh, I want to retire in 5 years. And they don't even have a plan or anything in place to make that happen. Both of these approaches lead to frustration, lack of motivation, and giving up entirely. Here's the solution to this mistake. Instead of focusing on vague or overly ambitious goals, define goals that are meaningful and specific. So that is why when we get together in a couple of weeks during the 2025 Money Planning Workshop, I am going to help you to craft 3 different types of goals. One of the goals will be the Enjoy Your Life goal, where you will spend time thinking about what truly matters to you. You know my motto, you can do both, build wealth and enjoy life at the same time. And I think when we try to just focus on one thing or the other, if we're only focusing on enjoying life, then we're going to end up broke. But if we're only focusing on our money and we're putting ourselves on a very restrictive budget, we're going to end up burning out and not even making much progress with our finances. So either way, it's unsustainable. So I want to teach you how to create goals that are going to be sustainable. So one of the goals you'll set again is the Enjoy Life goal. And with that, you're going to sit down and reflect on what is most important to you in life, and not only in life in general, but this season of your life. So for me, when I think back to when I was deep in debt, I had over $200,000 worth of debt, but I still knew that we couldn't follow all of the traditional personal finance advice around eating rice and beans, not going on vacations, and giving up everything that we love. That actually made me cringe and it kept me stuck. And when I came up with this framework, we had to really get real with ourselves and say, okay, listen, we have a ton of debt that we need to pay off. And we want to figure out a way to have some enjoyment. So for us, we sat down and decided that we wanted to make sure that we had a family vacation that we went on in the summertime. And those vacations at one point were just like going up north and going to like an inexpensive hotel and just spending time together. And then they evolved to things like we're going on a cruise or we're going to Disney World as we started to really make traction with our money and hit our financial goals. So for us, that was really important. Another thing that was important to us is that we really wanted our kids to be able to participate in extracurricular activities. So we decided that we were going to make sure that happened, but we weren't going to do it with like travel sports. That was just our decision because that was way more expensive. And we felt like our kids could get just as much value from, community sports and, the little teams that were in our community. But we were still able to have some enjoyment. Another thing we valued a lot was date night. So once a month in our spending plan, we put in for a babysitter so that we can go and have a date night, right? So that's what I mean by like figuring out your enjoy life goals. What is it? It doesn't have to be this huge, expensive thing, but it should be something, right? It should be something that matters to you. And so we're going to work through a process during the workshop to help you to figure that out so that you can have an enjoy life goal. So you'll go into 2025 with a plan for, okay, this is how I'm getting my enjoyment. Now, here's the cool thing when you do this. You're deciding what you're going to spend your money on intentionally, but then you're saying no to all the other stuff that doesn't make the list. So all the impulsive spending, all of the retail therapy, all of that goes out the window because you now know what truly matters to you. And so you get to spend your money on those things and say no to the things that don't matter. And when you do that, it will free up money for the next type of goal we're going to set, which is your financial growth goal. When you think about a financial growth goal, this is all about your foundation. What is going to give you stability? Think your 6-month emergency fund, or what I now call your life happens fund. Think getting out of high interest credit card debt. Think setting up systems so you're not overspending and changing your habits so that you're not overspending. So that's the other goal we're going to set. And then the final goal is going to be around legacy, right? What's your legacy goal? So this is going to be the dream goal, the one that lights you up, the one that makes you just feel so motivated and keeps you going. And for me, you all have heard me talk about mine. Mine has been for a long time to send my kids to college debt free. And I have a kid in college right now, and I'm sending him through school debt free. You know, my other goal is that when my kids are ready to buy their first home, I want to gift them with a significant down payment. And this came from the experience of the loan officer that was helping my husband and I buy our first home when we were getting the paperwork together and figuring out how much money we needed to put down. He asked us, do you have parents that can gift you a certain amount? And I think it was like $10,000 at the time that you could gift someone towards a new home without any, tax implications or anything like that. And that was a moment for me like, oh, no, I don't have that, but I'm going to do that for my kids. You know what I mean? So each generation is supposed to do better for the younger generation, right? The Bible talks about leaving an inheritance for your children's children. And I think that means setting them up even now so that they don't have the financial burdens that you had, right? So the fact that I'm sending my kids to school debt free frees them up from so much. You all, I had over $100,000 worth of debt, my husband and I combined. We had $100,000 in student loan debt alone. Can you imagine what our lives would have been like if we didn't start with that amount of debt? So me doing that for my kids, you doing that for your kids, is just putting them way ahead of the game. And then thinking about the fact that, when it's time for them to buy their first house, they don't have to scrimp and wonder, and take out these higher interest rates because they don't have a down payment. Or my other legacy dream goal is that when my grandkids are born, I want to gift them with a certain amount of money that's enough to put in their 529 plan, one lump sum, and then it'll just grow for 18 years and my kids never have to put more money in it. So again, that's leaving them so much freedom that they don't even have to worry about their kids' college. And so they can focus on other things. They can focus on other things in their lives versus focusing on sending their kids to college and putting away a lot of money in their 529 plan. So those are my legacy goals. You might have other legacy goals. You may want to retire abroad. You may want a lake house. You may want to have land and have a farmhouse. Who knows? No goal is better than the other. No desire is better than the other. But I will say that follow your gut, follow your dreams, because I believe that your desires and dreams are nudges from God, right? I believe that you wouldn't desire things that were impossible for you to have. So don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to desire. And we're going to do that together in the 2025 Money Planning Workshop. And then we can just make small steps to make it happen. That's going to be the thing about your legacy goals. Like, you don't have to overhaul everything to make it happen tomorrow. No, this is your dream goal. This is your big goal, but you can start doing things now to set you up for it. And it'll just motivate you and light you up and keep you going, just dreaming about what you want to accomplish in the future. So be sure to join me in the workshop where I'll help you to break down and create goals that excite you and challenge you, but are also specific and achievable. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at mistake number 2, which is about avoiding complicated money plans. Here's the problem. Many people go into the new year trying to overhaul their entire financial life at once, creating a plan that is overwhelming, too restrictive, and unsustainable, right? They have all these goals that they want to accomplish. I want to save $30,000. I want to get out of credit card debt and stay out forever. I want to invest more, all the things, right? And when you have that many goals going at one time, the likelihood of you achieving any of them is zero. I want you to think of this analogy. Think about a ship. And if the captain has a goal to go to the Bahamas and then to Jamaica and then to St. Thomas, and it's just bouncing back and forth. It's like, I'm going to all these places. I'm going to all these places. Where do you think he's going to go? Nowhere, right? But if the captain says, first, I'm going to the Bahamas. And then after I get to the Bahamas, I'm going to go to Jamaica. And then once I get to Jamaica and I stay there for a little while, I'm going to St. Lucia. And then after I get to St. Lucia, I'm going to St. Thomas, right? Honestly, my geography, I'm not even thinking about where these islands are located. And so I could be, going about this in a very inefficient way. But I think you get my point, right? If the captain just says, I'm going to all these places without prioritizing which is first, second, third, and fourth, he'll probably go nowhere. He'll keep vacillating back and forth. Oh, let me go to Bahamas. Oh, maybe Jamaica. Oh, let me go back around to St. Lucia. They won't go anywhere. They won't get to any destination. But if the captain has a well thought out plan, he can go to thousands of destinations, but one at a time. And so that's what I want you to know about your finances. You can get to so many areas. You can accomplish so many things, but you need to prioritize them. And one of the things we're going to prioritize together is our spending. I believe that overspending and impulse spending is the number one culprit that's preventing most of us from building wealth. Women who make good money but aren't building wealth is usually because their spending is out of control, right? And a lot of times their spending is out of control because they don't have a plan for their spending, first of all. Second of all, they use their money to make themselves feel better. It's a way to escape. It's a way to comfort themselves. And it's also just their habit, right? And then a lot of times it's because they're confused about who they are and they think that more things will make them better or more worthy. So usually when we're overspending, it's because we're either confused about how amazing we are and we think that material things can make us better. We do it out of comfort, right? When we have a bad day, when we're bored, when we're stressed, we turn to retail therapy, or out of conditioning. It's just a habit and our brain loves to get that dopamine hit and we have to learn how to decondition ourselves from that, right? And so we're all going to work on that. That's got to be a priority for all of us, our spending. And then you pick the next one. You'll pick the one that's most important to you. It could be getting out of debt. It could be saving. It could be investing. And that's mistake number 2. We're going to get just streamlined and clear and prioritize those 2 things, spending and then one other thing. And once we get those under control, there's no limit to where we can go next. And we can hit the next goal and the next goal and the next goal and hit all of these different milestones and achievements. But we got to be focused like the captain on the ship, one destination at a time, period. All right. That brings us to the final mistake, which is trying to do all of this stuff by yourself, trying to go at it alone, trying to figure it out by yourself without a system and without support. Here's the problem with this. The lack of support and accountability makes it easy to lose momentum and to quit when it gets hard. It is so easy to get started, but it is so hard to finish. Why? Because of what happens in between starting and finishing. All the stuff that happens, because it's not a linear way to success, right? You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. And when you have those downs, when you don't have a support system, when you don't have accountability, when you don't have a mentor, when you don't have a coach, when you don't have a community, the likelihood of you weathering the storm on your own and coming out still intact and with the motivation to keep going is very slim. And so prioritizing coming to the 2025 money planning workshop can be a great first step to getting that support. And of course, my coaching program, the Wealthy Woman's Academy, will be an amazing next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and recap the 3 mistakes you want to avoid when creating your 2025 money plan. Number 1, you want to avoid setting vague goals that don't reflect what you really want, right? You want to create goals that takes your unique desires and values into account. Number 2, you want to avoid overcomplicating your plan. Remember, we're going to be like the ship. We're going to go to one destination at a time, and we're going to prioritize, all of us together. We're going to prioritize really getting a hold of our spending, because once we can do that, then it will free us up to be able to hit all of our other financial goals. And then finally, the third mistake is trying to do it alone without a system or support. And the first step to getting that support is to sign up and show up for the 2025 Money Planning Workshop. All you got to do is go to jermainefoley.com/2025. And remember, you have 2 dates to choose from: Sunday, December 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Monday, December 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember to put it on your calendar, prioritize it. It's going to last about 90 minutes. You deserve to give yourself this uninterrupted time to plan out your year so that you can make 2025 your wealthiest year yet. I will see you in the workshop. Bye-bye. Hey, before you go, if you're ready to create a life with more money and more freedom, then you're invited to join the Wealthy Woman's Academy, my signature coaching program where you'll learn how to take control of your money and build wealth without sacrificing your lifestyle. To get started, head on over to jermainefoley.com/WWA. That's Jermaine with a G. See you over there. Bye-bye.